Hello everyone, it's me. I just wanted to come here today because I have been really having communication with higher self, spirit, God, source, however you consider your connection to powers that be beyond you. That is the conversation I'm having, or with whom I'm having my conversation. It's the part that is not me, my ego, the part that is not the influence of reality, the part of life that is not imagination, but a wisdom that comes through that you know is an authority of truth, because you not only receive it holistically, but it's undeniable that it came from a power beyond your own imaginings. And that's a confirmation I seek. What? I logged in. Hold on. Alright, let me log out real quick. How dare I forget that I was logged in? Oh. Okay. Oh well. I wonder if you guys could see me when I'm going onto my other... Well, I'll figure that out. Because I usually close off all the apps and I left that one on by mistake. Anyway. So, the question for me sometimes, not just myself, but collectively the me of the collective me, which is a collective ego, inner child, the part of us that feels like identity, the part of us that feels like just this is only happening to me, or this is only for me. It doesn't matter how you go about me. It's about understanding which aspect of self I understand. See, I lose track real quick. That part of myself, the me, is a part that I don't want interfering with the plan of spirit. And the plan of spirit is the intention that I have from my life to live a life that is whole, a life that is beyond my wildest dreams in terms of contentment, happiness, relationships that you hold, that you can never forget, that remains so real in your life, in your memory, in your thoughts, in your day-to-day, in your physicalness, in the realm of your physical. You absorb so much of the love connection or of the experience, because that's what an experience, that's why we chase or look for experience, is to feel, I guess, if it, at the most minimal thing is to feel. So I really love that part of me that knows what it wants, that knows the realness of being truly content, and knowing how fleeting contentment moments can be, because something or another disrupts that peace, or something or another disrupts that happiness. And that's usually our own self-sabotaging. It's usually our own subconscious, unawareness of our subconscious. And so as I've matured, as a matured Aries versus the Aries that was that number one always trusted that feeling of follow your bliss. That part of me always understood follow your bliss, because there is no experience that wasn't meant for you anyway. So if you follow your bliss in love and it leads you to a wormhole that is really hard to get out of, that wasn't punishment from spirit. That is actually something that needed to be experienced to gain wisdom from and to learn to discern. Yes, your instinct will always tell you to go to your highest bliss, but your highest bliss is not always going to be pleasant. Your highest bliss is not always going to be easily attained. Your highest bliss is going to require discipline sometimes and patience. A lot of lessons of earth for me, but I've learned that to manifest spirit in your day-to-day practical life, Jesus, what the, okay. In your everyday life, to see it be part of you in everything that you do, that's ritual, that's habit pattern, right? That's creating a pattern of ritual, of religion, of basically saying this is my practice. So for many that grew up like in the pagans, people that kind of like practical use of earth to create and influence spirit to manifest, that was never something I grew up with, consciously at least. So like for my mom to say, here, drink this tea, I used to take it when I was little for this, this, and that, whatever, right? Little medicines. My mom is very shaman that way, medicinal. But those were just ways of doing that to me were just our ways of doing, but it was applied only usually in things of like health versus in how to use the earth to create abundance, to better the circumstances of life. It's like I've learned to look at the world through the four elements as spirit. And instead of being the element and not even aware of how the other elements are observing or how they're working simultaneously in different ways, if you don't understand the ways of how you operate, nor what the needs are of how you operate, you can never manifest your true goals. Like as a fire sign with a fire trine, me actively doing, like fire is the workers of the four in a sense, and I don't mean that the others don't work, but they're the doers, as you know. And so they really require a clear vision from the air, a clear understanding and logic to know where to direct the passion, the faith, to know where to direct that enthusiasm. It needs earth to bring it and kind of give it the discipline and be like, these are your boundaries. Like, tell it like it is. For the fire, we love to be told the mission, to be given a mission. This could be in anything. In the family, this is your role, and this is what we expect of you, and this is what we need of you. Like, this would make us very happy if this is what you could do for us. You either can or you can't. You either want to or you don't want to. You either will or you don't. And it's like, whenever I had the ability to take on something, my enthusiasm far exceeded my knowledge of whether or not it was something I didn't know what effects would take place in my life or how it would affect. Like, I didn't really look at the whole picture. It was just the enthusiasm. Yes. And on a certain small level, there was I know that because whatever I came with is what was the basis of what I could do. So if they said you're qualified to do these things, this is how much of these things we need from you, and this is for how long you need to do it so that we can give you this much earth in return, meaning how much money, how much land, how much stability, how much luxury. This is how much we're going to give you for all that energy you put in here. So when you're on your path to self-discovery, or you're on your path to what is my soul purpose, or what is my mission in life, those are all themes of fire that when we claim ourselves, when we decide we're the ones that are going to direct our life, we don't need earth, we don't need air, we don't need water to drive us, to motivate us. We don't need air to inspire us in the ways of sharing information with us, giving us the freedom of expression. Because freedom of expression isn't always an expression that you like. It might be more than you need. I understand I'm going all over the place with this. As a fire, I will always do that. And as an earth moon, I empathize with all the earth signs that can't quite get to the point. Hurry the hell up, right? I used to have a friend that every time I would tell them a story, because fire signs always have some drama going on, some big time issue, and they're very loud about their story. So whether it was a sad story, a mad story, a funny story, a story of justice, for me, I would come with my stories, but there's so many parts to tell. There's so much analysis that has been taken place that my friend would be like, shoot, shoot, like, hurry up, get to the point. And I got so conditioned. This is really bothering me. Why the hell? I really don't. This is why. I really rather not be on camera because I'm so freaking annoying with myself. Comfortability is everything. Okay, I'm serious. All right. So, when you're looking for your own purpose, when you're like directing your life as a fire, it's like, wait, what do you need from me? Oh, you're the boss. Tell yourself what you need from you. Fuck, I don't know. I just want to do whatever you need me to do. Or tell me what you want to know about. Like, ask me the questions. Talk to me. Direct the conversation. Airs are like, we're just going to let you do whatever you want to say. Go ahead, so that you can direct your own thoughts. Well, fuck. How do I know you're going to like my thoughts the way I like my thoughts? Or how do I know you give a shit about my thoughts the way I give a shit about my thoughts? No, you don't know. So you gotta fucking share your thoughts in your way. And as a fire, that's all good. Like, okay, I can share my thoughts, but it's the lack of direction, like knowing you're in charge, you're leading, you are the leader in this endeavor. It's like, if the old world is gone, there is no boss figure, there is no man that has structured, organized, and created this foundation for you to just come do what we're going to tell you need to do. This is why they say children need structure. Children actually want structure. Because they're so creative, and it's like, if you allow me to just be, I'm going to be any and everything I can be. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no real focus. I'm just being all this energy. But then we find ways to say that the matrix is bad, and the matrix is, they're going to structure you and pin you in a box and put you, fuck, you need a structure. You need a structure to live on this world, regardless. We don't live in the world of our minds only. We live in the realm of our emotions. We live in the realm of the physical, interchange with reality. So if your physical world, in reality, the people you're engaged with, the things you're doing, the way that you're doing them, where you're doing it, and the results you get about it, or of it's like, who's saying, how do you put into a plan that which you are? And how does that plan that you are, how do you size it up? And how do you say, well, that investment of time that you're putting into that, the results of that is X. And whatever that is valued to society as a whole, this quality. Is it something everybody does or needs or benefits from? Because at the end of the day, when you're selling your brand, because that's really what you're fucking doing, is selling your fucking brand, aren't you? If at the end of the day, you go work for Costco, or I'm not promoting anybody, but any company that you go work for, corporation, you're a marketer for that brand. You're basically a brand ambassador. But the functions that you do in that organization are valued at how much you make, how much influence you have over the whole of the company, and how much of that influence that you have for that company is effective or non-effective. Meaning, does it enhance the organization? Or can it be replaced with someone else? Meaning, if what you do, anyone can do, then the value basically diminishes. But if you're doing something that produces good results, and they think they can replace you with just anyone because they think everyone can do it, they start to notice the value goes down. They start to notice that the quality isn't as effective. or that the funds are not operating in the way that it was abundant. Your energy in any organization, ultimately your own, because I had to learn my value in an organization by becoming my own business, being me, the business, being myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if what I do is valuable, it needs to be valuable to me first, whatever it is that I do. So I did everything that I do. And how much do I do of this or that? It doesn't matter what it is, because there are things that I do that to me is like, oh Lord, this is my life. This is my life. Okay, I do this thing. So whatever that thing is, you might not think it's valuable, but if you didn't do that, the value of the corporation goes down because nobody else is doing it. Nobody else can do it. Nobody else wants to do it, but it needs to get done. Right? Fuckers. Mm-hmm. I love my spirit team, by the way, because they're sarcastic as hell. And they are consistently challenging me. Mother, son of a guns. Back to what I was saying. The possibilities that are in you are endless. But if you don't have someone that's structured something and says, here, this specific thing that you're doing, I want you to do it here for this amount, for these hours. What do you have to negotiate on? Nothing. You're basically, when you apply for a job, you're going in there asking them to give you energy, to give you money. And what you're saying is, this is the energy that I'm going to give you. You tell me what energy you need of me. And what you don't understand is that they're taxing the shit out of you energetically, telling you, we need you for these hours consistently a day. And with these tiny breaks for lunch, a morning break and an afternoon, you get a total of 1 hour break. To some people, 2 hours at the most. And that's management. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes, they whatever. But people even working from home, if you're not logged in, ding dong, like you just heard, right? And it's like, okay, these little things that tie you down, that you're giving your time and energy to, so that you can receive an energetic reciprocity from, is determined by whom? Who really has the power there? I keep fucking with my hair. Stay put. Thank you. Okay. Who determines how much money you get for the things that you do? So you'll work for a company and they'll tell you, this is how much we're going to give you for you to do this. And these are our rules, and you follow them, and we'll give you that. And you agree to it because it's like, yay, I'm getting something for something that is easy to do, or, whatever. You justify why you can do that. But then you do it. And the anxiety that it builds unconsciously to have to do something on routine, to have to do something by a structure, now there's a problem, because that requires discipline, that requires motivation, and that requires a lot of passionate investment. Passionate investment. Oh my God, I need a hair tie. Lord have mercy. Hold that thought. I have to sneeze. Okay, I'm not sneezing yet. Alright. So, like for example, there are things that I do regularly, but regularly is not based on time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Lord, that felt good. Okay. So, regularly is not timely. Regularly is cyclical. There are things that you do cyclically that maintain the functions of your life, and you're doing those things consciously. Those things are valuable. Those things are a technology that a lot of people do not consciously do. You do things consciously as a habit that it takes nothing of you to do. It's just something you do that someone else struggles to do. You see? And these are our internal technologies, energetic technologies, from which that jobs are created, from which services are rendered, and value is given to create a reciprocal an energetic exchange that is equal. So, how do you calculate the value of a spiritual practice that cannot be calculated in time because it's energetically, it's in the realm of energetics. It's something that is done consciously to observe the spirit or to observe the patterns. And when you do it for yourself, you know what you're doing because you're keeping track of the things that are changing. But that it's the discipline that you can't sell, because no matter what lessons you give someone or what value there is in these practices or whatever it might be, I know I'm going on a tangent, right? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Basically, your purpose to do something that hasn't been done and then create a job of that because you're leading your own life in a way that life hasn't been led before. But when you find the common ground that other people have of creating their own lives, everyone that takes their own path hits certain milestones or experiences certain cycles that you can say, oh, these are the qualities of this pattern. So then you start to wonder, okay, so if this is a matter of pattern, okay, it took me this long to create this pattern of events, and then to be able to see what the value is, and then allocated a value and say the value of this to society is X amount. If followed through. And the only proof in the pudding is when I see the value that was allocated to me based on this or that or the other, but the collective of me and everything that I bring to the table. And the fact that it's diverse because it's so many things. We're talking in the fields of all realms. To be able to condense all of that into something tangibly visible that says this is a brand and this brand produces this thing and this thing is valued at this quality, and then convert that into currency that is physical, that we can all relate to, is on a scale considered success or wealth, whatever. When you can see that exists, and that there are people that would pay that for that, that's when you know what the true value is, because you'll see what it was valued at, despite all those qualities being there from the beginning. So then you wonder, when you can make like a map of a brand, when you can map out a brand, you eliminated all that excessive work, basically, of figuring it out. You've created a foundation. You created a vision. But again, who is giving it the value? Who is benefiting it? Who is benefiting from it? And if you are the subject of your own testing, you need to qualify the testing of what you've done. You know what I mean? Like, you need to say, okay, I gave a thorough investigation here, or I did a thorough analysis, and I could see a process that is repeating that is beneficial, or I see a process repeating that's useless, or I see a process that is being done but it leads to nothing. We don't see anything happening, and for how long? Is it a matter of needing a longer cycle, or is it a matter of requiring to change it? And then we try to change it and see, does it make any effective difference? And if we've tried everything and it doesn't make any effective difference, it's just something that we don't see yet. It's because it's probably not something that is whole yet, complete. So, how do you allocate your time in the physical to match the things that are the qualities of what you actually do on a day-to-day? And like, what is it equating to? What is that investment equating to? Like, okay, so if I spend a large amount of my time nurturing my children, maintaining my home organized, then anywhere I go, I can nurture animals at a zoo, but I can nurture children at a nursery. So it's like it's the nature of what you do. You can see what services you can render. The nature of what you do shows you the services that you naturally render. How much of what you give is effectively pleasing or life enhancing or quality driven, meaning it's like, does it bring a result that's positive? So when you're like, if I'm a customer service rep, every company I go to, all I do is deal with customers. It doesn't mean that that's the only job I can have in life, is to be some company's customer service rep. It means you are the face of a company when it comes to helping people solve their problems. You are the person that when a customer, meaning somebody that wants what your organization has or needs what your organization has, you're the person they speak to. You serve them, meaning you help them understand what they're buying into. You help them understand why they're buying into it. You help them understand why they pay what they pay for it. You help them understand why you either are giving them service or are taking away their service. You're the person that helps them cancel or stay with what they. So you're a problem solver for the person that is buying into what you have. So basically, God, this conversation, it's everywhere, isn't it? I know. I promise you, I'm trying my best to understand even why this matters, but I know it matters. Damn it. Don't tell me it doesn't matter. Lord have mercy. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe. Maybe it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, maybe the whole point of this is I started it with purpose. Discovering your purpose has more to do with, and as a fire sign, okay. This whole thing was shown to me in this way. The fire world people have only ever done things. They use their energy to do things. What if the challenge for fire people is to learn to do without doing? Do without doing. But then I started thinking of the earth people. And earth people need the doers to do what they need, right? Because, hey, I'm creating this thing. I need people to do it. I can't do it all. I need help. So it gets the air people to promote, market, manage, all the communication stuff, technology stuff. Gets all the water people to get people interested, invested, emotionally desiring whatever we have to give, whatever we're building, get them involved, get them driven to want this. So that energy, and then the energy of fire, which is to actually create it. Are you creating it? Fire, it's like, fire can see it. But the reason it's easy to see is because they're active, in motion, right? So I wonder if all I did was be in motion all day, walk here, walk there, move there, does that fire in itself help produce and manifest the results in physical? That was just a sidebar. But these are the things that I'm like questioning about my purpose, because I was given a vision like in 2000, I want to say 16 or so, 15, 16, right? And I really saw the golden age. I just saw a field of sunflowers in the sun, and it just was like, hallelujah. It felt like the golden age. It felt like the 10 of cups. It just felt like ultimate contentment, ultimate happiness. And what does that include? It includes the abundance is having the space to be, to exist, to be in harmony, to be in love, to be doing what you love with the people you love, feeling successful in life, feeling successful in our achievements, that not just because we believe it, but because others, those that value us, feel This isn't about validation so much as you see the evidence of your success because others also see it. It's being mirrored back. And what happens is when you venture alone, when you step out of society altogether, of course you're going to be met with, you're doing something wrong. You're supposed to be doing all this, like this. And if it doesn't look like this or act like this or feel like this or produce this, then you're that. And that is something we don't know, something that we should be ashamed of, something that we're embarrassed about, something that we see as failure, something that we see as bad, wrong, misunderstood, misguided, whatever the fuck. And then you feel like a fucking weed head. Because you'd rather build a YouTube channel and talk about your journey and to go work hard for the man. To please your family or to please society's. And then here's the kicker too. It's like you get kind of like put into these strange categories that have never been who you are, but you're categorized in ways that it's like, because I've worked for many years for the government, I know how they see civilians. And certain civilians that think too far outside of the box or live too far out of society mentally, emotionally, physically, they're looked at as rather strange, like, oh my God, they don't have a job? Like, that's really like a judgment, big time. Earth realm. Okay, this was another one. Hold up. There's that movie. I forgot what it's called. But they had like the different kinds of people. It was like some kind of future life. I can't remember which movie it was. But where they had like, based on your personality and whatnot, you're going to be living and working in this realm. And that's basically what they're saying. They're creating like, I think it's just a natural evolution, right? For us to become in touch with our elements or to look at ourselves within in that way. Because again, I grew up in a family that didn't really buy into their own religion. My parents didn't care about religion. And remember, I come from a family of fire. We're all fire for the most part, except for one air. And so that to me feels like they rebelled against religion, but they weren't like, they still abided by a lot of the values, family values, hard work, honesty. These certain values were very, they rebelled against religion, but they didn't create their own. They didn't really create for us as a family a structure of doing things that was better than what they had. They just, off the cuff, existed and did what has been done, which is get a job, keep a roof over your head, keep some food, and try to keep, your kids out of trouble, and then let them do that too. And I was kind of like questioning all of it because I was a great student in the sense that eager to learn. But I was learning, like, whenever I heard of something I didn't know of, it was like, I want to learn this thing because I wanted to do it. It's like, you want to learn to do most of the time. Why learn something if you're not actually wanting to do it? Now, there's a differences in saying, I want to learn this, and the moment you get into it, you're like, I really don't like it. It's not about, I can't do it, so I don't like it. It's more of, I'm doing it, I can do it, I'm doing, and I don't feel it. Like, it feels like a chore to me to do anything that doesn't just come naturally. And Earth needs things to be done like this, even though they're the most slow-moving, patient individuals. When they understand what needs to be done, they want it done now. Because in order for them to take the next step, step one has to be done. They're very practical, so it's like, what's holding up the line here? What needs to be put in? And when there's nobody motivated to come through, to know what they're doing, to explain it, that can do it, Earth eventually is like, okay, then we'll do it ourselves. Because Earth knows what needs to be done. They just don't want to do the things that need to get done. So they get others motivated to do it, either emotionally or excited for whatever you give them. Get them motivated and they'll do whatever you tell them to do. So that's why Capricorn is a devil energy, because it'll freaking make you feel obligated. It's like, oh shit, they paid. This is how superstars get kind of like coerced, I guess, into overdoing it, getting overwhelmed with like, they're getting bought. Here, we'll give you this. Here, we'll give you that. We'll give you this. But with the output that they expect of that star is to go here and there and move around and do this and do that and the other. Work for it. You got to work for it, right? Actually do the thing we need you to do that we don't want to do. So it's almost like out of the four elements, the only ones burning out would be that fire element, because their enthusiasm to do what needs to be done, and all you got to do is give them a direction and give them an incentive, and they'll do it. They don't think of consequences so much as unless they start realizing, wait, because a younger fire has the stamina to go long term into anything that they do. It takes a long time for them to get tired of doing something. But then you get to a place where it's like, why do I gotta do so much? Why I gotta be so extra? And then you start to realize how much of you is being drained. And then you don't want to get drained, so you stop moving for others. But you can get so stagnant and so uninspired that flame doesn't want to expand anymore. And that's a struggle for fire, which is needing to stay motivated. And so for me to create a brand that consistently kept me motivated, I had to let go of the idea that motivation was a doing thing. I had to realize, I had to find a reason to get excited to rest. I had to find a reason to get excited to sleep. I had to get a reason to get excited to do nothing and wait and have no direction, have no idea, have no structure, have no drive, have no desire, to finally be like, oh, okay. So when the slate is clean, so to speak, from nothing, what sparks you? What actually sparks you? And then you start to, I don't want to say live for that, but I wouldn't say that that's a bad way to put it. You start to live for that. You start to live for what sparks you. And that's all you want to do, is live to experience the spark of your beingness, not doing, but being. And being requires a balance. Being for fire has always been doing. And a fire that can just be without the fear that it's going to be blown out, or without the fear that it's not well structured, or without the fear that that spark now has a home. That flame now has a place where it can feel safe, where it's being nurtured, where it's being given the proper oxygen, where it's being given the proper foundation, so that it's that, oh my god, okay, that movie Elemental, I don't want to get it away, but the theme of the fire people was like keeping that, the blue flame, and this is the flame of spirit of, it's the one in the realm where in the physical you may not see all of that pizzazz. It exists inside no matter what. That's the soul spark. So anyway, that's my convoluted message for the day. Bye.